In this video, what I want to do is explain to you the different ways that we go ahead and classify our polynomials. So the first way is by the number of terms in our polynomial. So when we have a polynomial with only one term, remember that can be a number, a variable, or a multiplicative combination of a number and a variable. That is just going to be one term is going to be what we call a monomial. And a quick example of that would be like we had 3x to the fourth power. Now, if we have a polynomial with the sum of two terms, we're going to call that a binomial. And again, remember, you can separate them by subtraction, but you could easily rewrite that as addition, as I'm using the word sum as a combination of terms. If we have a polynomial with three terms, we're going to call that a trinomial. Now, when we get to a polynomial with 4 or more terms, we just like to classify them with a polynomial of and then blank number of terms. So again, we can use this for 4, 5, 6, 7, and on number of terms. And hope you understand the example would be just how many blank terms that we have. Now, the next way that we like to go ahead and classify our polynomials is by the degree. Now, the degree is going to be the highest power of our polynomial. Now, let me go and give you some examples so you can see what exactly I'm talking about with the highest power. Now, the first degree that we can raise a variable up to is going to be to the 0 power. However, remember, 0 raised to anything raised to 0 power is just going to be 1. So that is going to produce a constant. And you can see in the example here, if I have 3x to the 0 power, that's just going to equal 3, which again is going to give me a constant of 3. Now, the next degree or next power that we can raise a variable to is going to be 1. And we have a variable raised to the first power. We're going to call that a linear polynomial. Now, it's not very often that we go ahead and write the 1 up for the x, but you can see that that 1 is up there. If no other power is written up there, you can assume that the power is going to be a 1. If it was a 0, then the variable would just all become 1. Now, the next degree that we can have is going to be a 2. And if we have a variable raised to the second power, we're going to call that polynomial a quadratic. When we have a polynomial raised to the third power, that is going to be called a cubic. When we have a polynomial raised to the fourth power, that is being called a quartic. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we can keep on going on, but a lot of times whenever we get to a degree that's going to be higher than 4, then we just kind of say a polynomial raised to this power. And obviously, whatever that blank power is, that is going to be the highest power of our polynomial. Now, it is important to understand if you have a term with multiple variables raised to a power, then you need to go ahead and combine the powers to get the degree. So for example, 3x squared y cubed is actually a polynomial to the 5th degree. So you're going to add the powers if you have more than one variable within the term. Now that we have an understanding of how to classify them and we worked on some fairly basic examples, it's time for us in the next video to actually work through some more difficult examples of classifying polynomials. I'll see you in the next video.